Hello, everybody. Welcome to No Sevens Dice Club, College Football Edition, Week 15, December 12th, 2020. Uh, we have only got one more week, Week 16, and that's it. Then the college football series is over. Then we get into championship games, and then we get into bowl games. Hard to believe we're still doing football games in the middle of December. Normally the season's pretty much wrapped up. We already did conference games and everything else, but just it's a crazy 2020 year. Last week we went 3 wins, 1 loss. Had a really good week last week. Lost on our dark horse pick. I mean, Duke never even showed up. I don't even think they even knew that they had to play a game or something. I mean, Miami just leveled them. I think the score was 48-47 to 0. They just dominated the game. So we lost that one, but won all the other games, so did really well. So our record is 30 wins, 23 losses, and 2 ties. Doing really well with this season, better than expected, but cannot say anything just yet because we still got a long way to go before we can pop the court to another successful season. And while I'm talking about seasons, if you saw that game, BYU lost to Coastal Carolina, the very last play of the game. A lot of questionable decisions with their 2 timeouts at the end of the game. If you saw the BYU game, they really needed to win that to elevate them into bragging rights, into eye candy and everything else for the college committee. Now that they lost, their season's pretty much unfortunately done with. It's kind of sad to see it, but that one game, one play just ended their whole entire season for a great bowl game. And last but not least, before we get started on our picks, I was going to talk to you about LSU has gone from bad and they had to worse to pretty much gone. I mean, what started out to be a dumpster fire has now just the whole entire landfill's on fire. I don't, every day now LSU is something drastic's happening. For the people who's not really following LSU football, right after the Texas A&M game at the end of November, which was 2 weeks ago, we had Terrence Marshall Jr. opted out, decided to play for, get ready for the draft, did really well, first round pick, can't blame him. I really appreciate everything he's done for LSU as a wide receiver. The latest come out 2 weeks ago, Art Gilbert, who is the tight end, who was the highest rating tight end ever to come out of high school in high school football history. 5-star prospect. He was 6'6", 250 pounds, a super freak, Gatorade Player of the Year nationwide. Decided to opt out of his freshman year of college football. He said that he's homesick and that he's going back home. His body hurts and everything else. Will he come back to LSU? Who knows? Very talented freshman. He opted out. That was news of Tuesday. This video is being shot Wednesday. As of Wednesday, LSU went ahead and imposed a bowl ban on themselves after what's going on with the whole entire Odell Beckham and NCAA violations and stuff. So they're not playing in a bowl game, even though they're bowl game eligible. If the season continues out and they lose the next 2 games, this will be the first time that LSU has a losing season since 1999. Hard to believe. I mean, it's bad. A couple of their 5-star recruits that were supposed to come in for 2021 are now talking about decommitting, going to other schools. Some of the other players on the football team, now that there's nothing really to play for the next 2 games because there is no bowl game, they're talking about opting out for the rest of the season. So, I mean, the bottom's getting ready to just completely fall out. I mean, it's It's horrible. Never seen anything like this. Rumors are now going around that Ogeron might not be around next season. His staff might not be around next season. I'm telling you, it's pretty crazy stuff what's going on at LSU. You know, you went from the top of the top, having, you know, historically probably the best football season ever in 2019 to 2021. Might have a whole entire new coaching staff, might have all new players. I mean, hold on, guys. If you like college football drama, stay tuned to LSU because it's crazy. All right, so that is my little rant. Sorry I went on a little bit, but let's move on. Reason why I went into LSU a little bit more because that also covered our first game. Florida's minus 23. They're playing at the Swamp. Like I said, LSU has only freshman quarterback, a couple of wide receivers, no defense whatsoever. Florida needs all the points and style points they can get. Florida's going to roll, so let's go ahead and mark down Florida minus 23. It's just going to be like the Alabama game. And now that they don't have any star talent whatsoever for wide receivers, since Art Gilbert's gone for LSU, this is going to be Florida all day long. Look at Kyle Trask to just light it up with Kyle Pitt and just go from there. So let's go ahead and take Florida minus 23. Florida's going to win big in this game. And, I mean, I expect to see Florida 40, 50 points and LSU 14 points. Really surprised LSU scored 17 points on Alabama. Really am. But anyway, all right. So next we have the Lane Train going to College Station. Texas A&M is minus 16. Texas A&M needs to play very physical, dominating football because they're trying to sneak into the Final Four, and that selection committee is starting to narrow. They're actually getting all the games on film. And Ohio State, they changed the rules so that way Ohio State can go and play in the conference championship, even though Michigan has opted out for this week. So it's really cool to see the Big Ten has kind of helped out Ohio State in that. So it's going to be interesting to see how everything twists and turns. Ohio State's going to be playing Northwestern in that game in the conference championship. I don't know if you can hear the dog, but it's 1:30 in the morning. I'm shooting this video and the dog's barking, waking up the neighbors. So I expect to see a dog being sold to the Chinese market probably pretty soon. Anyway, getting back to Ole Miss. Ole Miss is going to win this. The over-under on this game is 75 points. So I will not take the over in this. Texas A&M needs to win this game big. It is minus 16. This is going to be a very tight game with minus 16 points. I would not go any higher than minus 16 points for Texas A&M. In fact, I almost kind of see this almost as a break even. I kind of see Ole Miss and Texas A&M with their point spread of minus 16. You know, Ole Miss starting out the game with 16 points. This is going to be a very close game. I probably see a degree of 14 point separation. So I'm going to pick Texas A&M minus 16 because they desperately need to win this game. But Ole Miss is going to hang very tough in this game. And those players are not quitting on Lane Kiffin. They're progressing. They're getting better. And like I said, this is going to come down to a very interesting game. I almost want to pick Ole Miss in this because the point spread's so high. But I have a feeling that Texas A&M is going to cover this. But I would not go any higher than minus 16. In fact, I would rather buy down 2 points and take it at minus 14. But let's go ahead and take Texas A&M because they need a win in a desperate fashion. Show the college community that they are playing lights out football, even though they really haven't shown it against LSU and some of the other teams that they recently played. But they desperately need to win this game big, and their defense needs to show up. Their defense is playing pretty good, so let's see how they play against Ole Miss. We're going to take Texas A&M minus 16. And like I said, you know, this game could go kind of either way with Ole Miss. I would rather see this game minus 14 than minus 16. But hopefully it doesn't come back and bite me on the butt. But we shall see. Coastal Carolina, we talked about them. They're the ones that upset BYU, destroyed their season. So Coastal Carolina, hats off to you. You guys, you know, won a great game. This was an email from one of my subscribers. He was asking me about the Coastal Carolina at Troy game, if he should bet on it. If it was me personally, I would stay away from this game because they're due for a huge letdown. After that big BYU beatdown, winning in the last second, they're due for some sloppy play, a letdown game. They are playing Troy. If you look at Troy's schedule, they really haven't blown the doors off anybody. They do score points, but when they play tougher opponents like Coastal Carolina this year, and hard to believe Coastal Carolina is ranked so high this week, of course, after beating BYU. But Coastal Carolina, it goes to show you how upside down 2020 is. Coastal Carolina is ranked. LSU is ranked number 80th or 90th in the nation. Just goes to show you how far upside down this world has become in 2020. Going back to my email, Coastal Carolina is due for a letdown, but Coastal Carolina is only minus 13.5 in this game. Troy really does not have the offense or the firepower to keep up with Coastal Carolina. I expect, even though this is they're going to come out very sluggish probably in the first 2 quarters, Coastal Carolina is going to come back and they're going to handle business and they're going to win big. I expect them to win by at least, separation of at least 30 points. So I feel pretty confident that Coastal Carolina is going to keep it kind of close with Troy at first, but come the third and fourth quarter, they're going to put the foot on the gas pedal and take care of business. So let's go ahead and take Coastal Carolina minus 13.5. Alrighty, guys. And then our last pick is Alabama's minus 33 against Arkansas. Now, I want you to go back a week with me. Alabama was minus 29 points when I picked them last week against LSU. And you're saying no sevens. Okay, what does that have to do with Arkansas? Everything. Arkansas has a way better team than LSU this year. But didn't LSU beat Arkansas? Yes, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about now, Arkansas has a defense. Arkansas has an offense. Arkansas has special teams. Arkansas is playing with a little bit of chip on their shoulder. They're showing that they're actually trending up. LSU's trending down. So, with that being said, if I had to pick this game, and if I was Las Vegas, I would not put minus 33 on Alabama. I would put minus 25 on Alabama. This is an overreach and a mistake by Las Vegas. Arkansas, if you look at their games that they've been playing, and we'll look at that, Arkansas has lost they played Missouri. They lost 48-50. They lost against LSU 24-27. Now here comes something special. Excuse me. They lost to Florida 35-63. You're like, wow, what a blowout. But if you look at it, you take 33 points, they covered that, okay? They won against Tennessee 24-13. Texas A&M, who's a very good team also, ahead of Florida 31-42. Ole Miss 33-21, Auburn 28-30, Mississippi State 21-14, Georgia 10-37. So, and you're probably sitting there saying no sevens, what does it have to do with anything? They play games very, very close. So this 33 points is an overreach, and I think it's too much. I think Alabama might be looking at the SEC championship, getting ready for Florida. Mac Jones, I don't expect him probably to play the full all 4 quarters. They're probably going to start resting their players because this game really doesn't mean too much. They're pretty much locked in already going into the SEC championship. Pretty much locked in as the number 1 seed. They're not going to lose this game. And they don't have to win style points or eye candy or anything else. They just have to win the game. They can win by 3 points and they'll still be fine. And there'll be a lot of questions if they only win by 3 points and everything else. But who cares? It's nor there or anything else. They're resting their players because they know that they got the national championship. And then in 2 weeks after that, then they have to play for a playoff berth. So there's really not a lot of rest for these players. So they're probably going to start resting players in the third and fourth quarter, their first string players, getting their second string players playing time and everything else like Alabama did against LSU last week. So I think this is an overreach. This is my dark horse pick. I like Arkansas plus 33 all day long. I think they're going to do really well. because our Kansas is going to take care of it. As you notice, I've already put up my bully picks. You're like, no sevens. You always save that to last to surprise us on who your bully picks are. Yes, but there's question marks. I know you can't see it that well. Let me see if I can. There we go. All right. So our bully picks is Alabama, Texas, Florida, Texas A&M. We know those are going to be our sure lock-in winners. Bama's playing Arkansas. Texas is playing Kansas. Florida, as we know, is playing LSU. LSU is not going to win that game. If they do, I don't know what else to say. It's going to be snowing outside at LSU Stadium. Texas A&M. We've already talked about Texas A&M playing Ole Miss. BYU is playing San Diego State. That's going to be a little bit of a questionable game. I expect BYU to win that game. They're going to play pissed off in that game. I expect them to dominate that game pretty fashionably. That's the reason why I have them as a question mark. They're playing a pretty good opponent in San Diego. Coastal Carolina is playing Troy. The reason why they have a question mark is because they're due for a letdown after the big win against BYU. And Georgia is playing, I think it is Mizzou, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot who Georgia's playing, but Georgia should roll that team too. It's going to be a very close game. But those are the three questionables. So if you were to take all 7 of those teams, put $20 on it, it should pay you out a pretty good amount because you got BYU, Coastal Carolina, and Georgia, who are going to be, 50-50 slots kind of. So you put $20 on it, you should get back almost another $20, $40 total. $20 in winnings, $40 total. So that's what this week's looks like. Pretty short video, only 17 minutes. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. It's 1:30 in the morning. Thursday morning, Wednesday morning, late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning, whatever you want to call it. I'm ready for bed. So I'm calling it a night. Hopefully you guys like the pick. Hopefully I answered everything about your email, about the Coastal Carolina. But that's pretty much it. I'll definitely, my 2 big money horse picks that I'm going to bet heavy on this week is Florida -23 and Arkansas +33. Those are the ones I feel very confident in. Texas A&M, Coastal Carolina, I don't know about those. But thank you guys for tuning in. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think. And let's finish out this week strong. Let's see if I can't go 3-1 or 4-0 this week and go from there. So thank you for tuning in. And stay tuned for the next couple of days because we have a craps video coming out. And my December casino update. Lots and lots of information. So please stay tuned for that. A lot of big stuff coming out of New Orleans casinos. Huge multi-million-dollar projects coming out of New Orleans. So stay tuned to all the news and events I can finally share with you guys about what's going on in New Orleans. So I'll talk to you guys tomorrow or whenever I do the next video.